big shout out to Adrian and the Groundhogg team for putting on this event. I've been to several of the sessions so far. Loved the one with Paul Toby about YouTube. I was just on the Uncanny Automator one as well. Great job with what you've done here. Before I drop into my presentation, I just want to welcome the people on the call. We've got Zan, Warners, Vicky, Tobias, Ted, Rick, Ruben, Ramsey, Paul, Marco, Mark, Jurg, Jean-Pierre, Hiba, and Brandon. Thank you for coming to check this out. If you all could say hello in the chat, let me know where you're coming in from. I do use Zoom a lot, and I'm used to interactivity. So if you would just fire away in the chat, I might ask some questions of you as I get into the presentation. Patricia, thanks for the shout out. I appreciate that. We got Edmonton in the house, Wyoming. That's awesome. Zurich, Switzerland, Las Vegas. Awesome. Well, thanks for playing along. I'm actually going to go ahead and share with you in the chat a few messages and links I have, because when I go into presentation, it goes into full screen mode and it's harder for me to do as much as I want to with the chat. So I'm just going to put those in here. I'm Chris from Lifter LMS. I got a link to that. We also have a special promotion for Groundhogg users. If you end up wanting to invest in your business with a learning management system, we've got a discount for Lifter LMS. And then I've got a resource for you as well, the 2022 Buyer's Guide for Learning Management Systems in WordPress. If you're not really looking to buy something right now, but want to learn a little bit more about what makes the different options different. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and jump on in. If somebody could let me know in the chat that the slides are up.
I can see that, so no problem.
All right, we are live. Cool. So this presentation is about how to scale up any business with courses and memberships on your website in 2022 and beyond. I'm going to go over some trends, some use cases, and some tech. Pay special attention as I get into the use cases, because you can use a learning management system in a lot of different ways. So as a business owner, and maybe your main job is not to be an information product creator, like a course creator or a coach, but you might be missing some opportunities of different things you can do to generate more revenue, employee retention, leads, all kinds of things you can do with courses and memberships that you may not have even thought of. So we're going to get into that today. So stay to the end so that you can kind of get through all of the different options of ways you could grow your business with a learning management system. So I'm Chris Badgett, CEO and co-founder of Lifter LMS. Lifter LMS has been around for almost 8 years now. We're one of the leading learning management systems in the WordPress space. I'm also a course creator. I've been in WordPress since 2008, started as a blogger, became a freelancer, grew an agency to 17 people, and focused in, similar to Adrian, in the Infusionsoft niche. So I have a big background in marketing automation and a lot of what was going on around the Infusionsoft space. And then later, a lot of our top end clients needed a solid learning management system, membership, e-commerce solution all in one. It did not exist, so we built it. That's how Lifter LMS was born back in 2013, 2014. So who do we help? We help a couple different types of people who are building it, like WordPress professionals, agency, stuff like that, but also perhaps people like you who might be wanting to start with a learning management system and do it yourself in-house and make more money, get more leads, and increase the efficiency of your company. We also have people that really burn out from hosted solutions. So similar to how people leave platforms like Infusionsoft and ActiveCampaign and ConvertKit and come to Groundhogg for better affordability, more features, more flexibility, and so on. We're the same way in the LMS space, where people outgrow a Teachable, a Kajabi, a Thinkific, a Moodle, something like that, and they want the power of WordPress. So that's who we help. Now, the trends I want to get into with you today, the first is online education is going mainstream. It's not new. It's been around for quite a while. Um, in various niches, online learning has been happening since, really the birth of the internet. It kind of began as a communication tool between universities and experts and that kind of thing. But over time, and especially with recent events, it's going really mainstream. We see ads for things like Masterclass, where you can learn comedy from Steve Martin, or by signing up for that LMS, or you could take 1 billion courses on Udemy, or you can get your online degree. This whole thing is just going extremely mainstream. This is an old pre-COVID statistic that e-learning is projected to be a $300 billion industry by 2025. It's probably going to be much bigger than that in terms of what's been accelerated by recent events. The global pandemic education system disruption really kind of shook people and into the online world, even if they weren't quite ready for it. Online learning is not the solution for everything. There are challenges with it. A blended approach is really the best solution, but there's a place for online blended and full online, and it's just exploding, especially with recent events. 5G on the rise. If you're on this webinar, you're probably somewhat used to the internet and tech and that kind of thing. But there's a lot of people in the world who are still coming online or still getting access to the data speeds required for more heavy, video online learning kind of websites and stuff like that. And that is just exploding. We've even got the Starlink satellite internet stuff that's happening. And there's a ton of people all over the world that are still just coming online for the first time. So that's a huge trend. And if we zoom outside of our own bubble, it can be kind of mind blowing how much of reach you can get with your courses and memberships. The other trend is tool accessibility. So if you ask kids these days what they want to be when they grow up, the most common answer is a YouTuber. So all these things in our smartphones or fancy cameras have gotten cheaper, easier to use, more all-in-one solution to pretty much turn anybody into a media company. So that access to be able to create a video studio or even more amateur, just crack open the laptop and you have everything you need to make courses already built into the machine. Now the use cases part I'm going to get into here. This is very important for expanding your mind on what is possible with online learning. And I want to just zoom back for just 1 second and say, as a human being, one of the things that makes us human is our ability to learn. We have mirror neurons that fire as we interact with people. We are essentially learning machines. Learning is one of the primary things that makes us human. So just keep that in mind as we dig into this. So the classic way to expand your business is to offer an online course. So, maybe it could be a paid course. So this is one of our customers named Esther, who was a military spouse. And she, within 3 years, was selling $50,000 a month of her online course, which helps military spouses become virtual assistants. So there was a problem. If you're a military spouse, you end up having to move a lot, so it's hard on your career. And she found a way to make that work as a VA, as a virtual assistant. So she started teaching other military spouses how to do it, build community around that. She launched a very lucrative online course, is very successful. The other use case is a little bit more advanced. It's what I call a training-based membership site. This is Melissa Love, who's a wonderful designer and entrepreneur. She created a membership site for people getting into design and building online marketing and stuff like that. So she has a website, but it's also a coaching program. There's online courses. There's all these virtual events similar to this that happen. They have co-working sessions. They have member perks. They have guest webinars. There's lots of courses. So she uses Lifter LMS to just power this training-based membership site. So if we think at it atomically, the smallest unit is like a course. And then you build around that, and you can really just put your learner at the center of whatever your objective is, and then surround them with the things they need. Might be courses, might be webinars, might be an online community, could be some templates, some other resources. And that's how you think bigger, like as a membership site. And we could be trying to make more money. We could be trying to train our employees. We could be trying to do education-based marketing. There's a lot of different things we can do with courses. So the other thing is the course marketplace. So the largest WordPress education site on the internet is powered by Lifter LMS. It's called WP 101. This is a multi-instructor online learning platform that there's many courses, and they use our membership functionality. You can buy the courses a la carte, or you can get the membership and get all of them. That's WP 101. They have multiple instructors, and they pay their instructors in certain ways for their participation. That's what makes a course marketplace even bigger. It's like it's not just one expert. There's lots of experts. The fourth, which I kind of seeded earlier, is education-based marketing and onboarding. This is the 2-for-1 hit that I highly recommend that almost every business on the planet should do, which is essentially a quick start course. You'll see Groundhogg is on here. You've probably, if you've been around Groundhogg, taken that course, which is powered by Lifter LMS. And the cool thing about a quick start course is you can use it in your marketing, and you can use the exact same thing in your onboarding. So it's one of the most important pieces of content you can make. Adrian and Groundhogg is a software company, but have you ever gotten a product and then opened the package, and then there's like this really crappy little white, thin instructional direction set that's almost useless? If that's ever happened to you, type yes in the chat. I'm gonna wait to see if anybody has had that experience of getting some directions that were not optimal.
Get a number of yeses, even including myself.
Good. See, this is the big opportunity. Many companies still act like the old days where you have this really crappy thing that came in the box and it doesn't even really help you, or even worse, just nothing. They just care about the sale, and then good luck. A quick start course, which you can use for marketing and lead gen too. When buyers buy a product or a service, they often want to know, and agencies can use this too. They often want to know, like, well, what's it going to be like to work here? And can I see myself unboxing and using this physical or metaphorical digital product and being successful with it? Quick start courses are very powerful. The next is internal training. This is a big one. A lot of companies have all this intellectual property locked inside the heads of their top employees or contractors, but they don't really document their systems and processes. Maybe they have compliance things they need to do around, like forklift safety is what this is representing. Using a learning management system to train your team members and capture the intellectual property that you've invested in employees and contractors who one day may leave. It's a very important thing to do if you can focus the capacity on it. So that's a big opportunity for people out there. And the big one is remote schools. And schools they come in lots of sizes and flavors. There's mainstream things like K through 12, university, college, community college, higher ed degrees. And what we've really seen with explosive growth and success is actually continuing education training, where people are like required to maintain a license, things like that. Those people are some of the most successful people we see out there just by the nature of how it's set up. So here's the problem in the LMS industry landscape. The first is that a lot of folks end up with a software Frankenstein. They get too many components made by too many different people that weren't designed to work well together, and they end up in a hot mess. So we want to avoid that. for us, like Lifter LMS is an all-in-one solution. However, really, you still benefit by having a finely curated, selected group of top other functionality plugins like Uncanny Automator is a great example. WP Fusion was on here earlier. Groundhogg is another great example. Newsletter Glue. These things help, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to end up with like 50 or 100 plugins on your site. The other thing people do is they end up not monetizing. Now, maybe that doesn't matter with you if you're just trying to train your employees, but even that, you're monetizing your business asset. Or if you're trying to get additional revenue and you're creating online training, maybe you're under monetizing or giving it all away for free without a strategy. For example, I've seen people build up big YouTube channels and they could have been monetizing also. YouTube's a great lead generation platform. Paul had a great talk about that. But also it's important to have the other side of the conversion point and have your content, your premium paid courses and memberships. Content theft is also a big problem in the space. Low engagement, where people, they get excited, they get in, and then they even fail to finish lesson one or fall off after a couple of days. This is another problem. And then, especially in the SaaS space, software as a service space, people get trapped. Like, I know lots of people that are super frustrated with something like a Teachable or a Thinkific, where it doesn't integrate with what they want it to do, or all the sites look the same and there's limited options and they can't leverage an ecosystem of other products with it. So that's a big problem in the space as well. But here's my promise to you today. Whether you're looking at Lifter LMS or looking at something else, what we're going to do is we're going to unlock creative freedom. We're going to help you sell and maximize revenue, protect your content, engage your learners, and connect to anything or really the tools you're already using, which is super important. So there's 3 big ideas when you think about adding a learning management system and courses and memberships to your business that I want you to keep in mind. The first is to, as much as you can, choose all-in-one solutions that aren't, so you don't end up like piecemealing too many little things together. The next is to focus on results, not just information. So if you're trying to train your employees, you want them to have a level of understanding, not just get access to the content. If you're trying to coach a piano player, you want them to be able to play certain songs or achieve certain levels of competency at the piano. If you're trying to help somebody grow their agency, you want them to achieve certain levels of revenue or clients, not just get access to the content. And the third thing is, this is the beauty of WordPress and having open systems, is you want to be able to connect to anything. And I think Ryan from Uncanny Automator showed some great examples of how to do that this morning. So here's the top benefits, and I'm going to kind of dig in a little bit here. Working with we'll dig in to each of these, but first I'm going to show you how the learning management system with your business that you can create, you can sell, you can engage, you can protect this asset that you're creating and connect to the tools you're already using. So from the creation standpoint, this is one of the innovations of Lifter LMS. This is pre-Gutenberg WordPress 5.0 or whatever. We built the ability to create and manage an online course entirely from one screen. You can, of course, drill into individual lessons and assignments, but really kind of like how a writer develops an outline and then fills in the content and the subheadings and just kind of works on the book. We made it possible to do that with courses. We also created from day one, Lifter LMS has had memberships. So if you want to, not just have courses, but have coaching programs and protected events and all kinds of other things. You can create any kind of training or business model. This is where the hosted platforms fall down often, is you're stuck in their one opinionated use case. But really anything's possible with Lifter and WordPress. And you can actually create a unique brand and design instead of cookie cutter. So design is very much a personal opinion. My pro tip for you today is when you approach design, it's actually more important what your target market likes than what you personally like. So there's just a little pro tip for you. But with WordPress, and especially with all the tools out there, the page builders, and all the graphic design resources out there these days, Canva is a great example. You can amass a truly unique brand and design, which is awesome. And then you can create compliance flexibility. If you need to get people to agree to certain terms, that's all, and privacy and stuff, that's all, fundamental to the LMS, especially when you're working with an LMS is not just a content site. You have users, their progress tracking, you have their personal information. So for example, Lifter LMS is built around compliance and keeping you just like right where you need to be in terms of not even having to worry about that stuff. It's all built into the system. And then you can really create any kind of enrollment, from one-time payments to members-only pricing, payment plans, trial offers. Throw any pricing model at me. I'll show you how to create it with Lifter LMS. Selling is also important. So one of the things that a lot of businesses are sitting on is an opportunity to have an additional income stream by selling courses and memberships. And you can, in order to sell, you can package and monetize how you want to do it. So you could have just a simple one course. I know people who have one course that they've been selling over and over and over for 8 years. It's the same course. They launch it 2 times a year and they make really good money. Or you can have, these membership sites with lots of content, and, the courses evolve over time. You can package and monetize however you like. You can make sales, but you can also get leads. Like, this is the official quick start course for Lifter LMS in our academy here. And Adrian's got one similar. So it's not just about making money. It's also about getting leads. And you can also maximize profit by thinking bigger than just putting your product at the center of the business. When you put your customer at the center of your business, you surround them with all the things that they need, which could be your product and service, but maybe they also need some training. Maybe they need some coaching. Maybe they need some community. These are all features built into Lifter LMS in terms of like private coaching. And we have a community system, kind of like a lightweight Facebook, but on your website if you want to keep people off Facebook. Or if you want to, you can use other tools like Buddy Boss or a Facebook group or Discord server or whatever. But when you think bigger than just your product and really focus on your customer and surround them with the support they need, you start to see clearly the opportunity. You can sell recurring revenue, which is great. Would anybody like more recurring revenue in your business? If you would, let's get a yes or a heck yes in the chat. Awesome. We've got some yeses coming on. And recurring revenue is awesome. It's the subscription economy is one of the most beautiful things for entrepreneurs to unlock. And even if you run an agency that's more service driven, or you have a product and learning products are not your main thing, but what if you just added even a low price membership that had training that was an additional cost that would just tick over every month, even at a small price point? Recurring revenue is a great way, using recurring learning opportunities to increase your recurring revenue. Another pro tip for you today is that one of the easiest things you can launch, anybody on this call could launch it today, is an office hours, like it's like a call like this where your customers could come and ask questions. It's time boxed in a certain it's like certain time on the calendar, and you basically just open up that kind of support channel with you or your team, and boom, there's like a high level recurring revenue opportunity you have there. That can be the easiest way to start a membership site today. Grab you a Lifter LMS, create a membership called Office Hours Mastermind, and give people what's in it. And just all you got to do is open up a Zoom call at a certain calendar event time. Use Groundhogg to notify them, around when to join and do the nurture and all that. The other thing is to get paid in advance before you create something. So you can also validate especially if you're doing a premium course, you don't even have to like create the whole thing. You can pre-sell it and get paid in advance. In terms of engagement, we're in what's called the results revolution, which is people don't just want information. Like I like to say, the information age is over. We're in the results age. Information is just a way to get to the result. So the best courses, just like the best content, it's entertaining, but it also helps people get specific results. That's why we have a lot of all the features we develop at Lifter LMS are designed around learner results. That's why we have community features, so that people can connect with other like-minded learners on the journey. You get more results that way. Different from just like the classic membership site, you create engagement and understanding by having analytics and reporting built into your learning management system. That's how you can see who's winning, who's failing, who's doing average. And even you can also look at, if you're using Groundhogg as an example as well, they've got their own reporting. So no longer is it a mystery, like how somebody's doing, how engaged are they with your content or your marketing or your learning opportunities. You can control their progress. The big amateur mistake that people make is they create a membership site, they dump a bunch of stuff on it, and people get lost. This is why course creation is really the meta skill. Figure out how to make courses, maybe start with what I call a mini course, and allow your users to like progress as fast or as slow as they want to it. If you want to do drip content and stuff like that, you can do that as well. And we've also got gamification through achievement badges, certificates, and emails to help just gamify the experience even more, keep people having fun, motivated, happy. In terms of protection, the lessons are locked down. You can even hide the syllabus if you don't even want people to know like what's inside. We've had a lot of people who have concerns about even letting people know what the curriculum is because of competition, like knocking it off and stuff like that. So we've got features to control all that. You've got individual user accounts, so people have their own experience of your website. That's how it's different than thinking about like a marketing site. When everybody has their own experience, their own dashboard, their own progress, their own grades, their own achievements and gamification experience, your website becomes very dynamic. And you can also protect people's privacy the right way with all the GDPR compliance and everything like that. That's all built into Lifter LMS. Now, in terms of connecting, you can connect with your favorite WordPress tools, whether that's your favorite form plugins, Groundhogg, whatever you like to use. This is the beauty of WordPress. We've also got Lifter LMS on Zapier. So if you want to go outside of WordPress, you can make that happen. Uncanny Automator, who was on here earlier, also has awesome connections with Lifter and even to allow you to branch out to other automations. And this is really one of the ways we lead the market that the market doesn't. Some know when they're the real hardcore developers out there, but Lifter LMS has a very incredible API. So when people are building mobile apps to go with their WordPress LMS or other companies are integrated in, we've invested a lot in making Lifter LMS the most extendable learning management system in WordPress and developer friendly. So that's another thing out there. Now I'm going to switch screens. I'm going to share a model with you, and then we're going to kind of get into questions. And basically, what I'm going to share with you is how I think about creating education to scale or make more money or make your asset of your business more valuable. So I'm just sharing my iPad. If somebody could let me know if that comes up. I'm just going to try the connection again. Usually I have to do the classic unplug it, plug it back in. There we go.
There we go. We see it.
You got it? Cool.
Yep.
Thank you, Gregory. So what I'm going to show you today is what I call the education entrepreneur growth engine. So if you guys could in the chat, let me know like what your business is or like how, like what's going on, so I can perhaps provide some relevant examples. Like, is this a group of entrepreneurs out there? What do you do? Or what's your business? What's your service? Or where do you work? Maybe you're working in another company. Let me know in the chat so I can kind of tailor this to you.
We got one. Kurt is service training for motorcycle dealer. Vicky is coaching. I bet we have. I know in the chat we have many attendees we have who are entrepreneurs, digital agency. We have many people who are so many different wide fields.
Cool. So to become an education entrepreneur, to really fold education into what you do, and think of education bigger than just like, if you just think of like the school you went to when you were younger, maybe it's bigger than that. Just education, lifelong learning. What Lifter does and what you're doing is you really need a tool to create, launch, and scale. And then when you do that, what it ends up increasing in your life is more freedom. And then as you're in this, let me make that bigger. When you become creative with educational opportunities inside your company, you make more money, you train your team better, your customers are happier, your expenses go down. If you're on this call and you have a digital agency, I'm going to go deep on how to use an LMS as an agency in another talk later today. So just throwing that out there. But you also need to be able to launch it. It's not just about like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I could create this course? You also got to make the thing and be successful with getting the word out there. And then once you've got that done, then it's time to scale. So that's kind of the fundamentals of the education entrepreneur growth engine. When you create it and you actually launch, what you get is more income, which I think everybody wants more of that. When you launch it at scale, you get more impact. And when you're able to scale it while also being your creative genius, you get another type of freedom I call creative freedom. So you get to be more of who you are. This is a kind of an insight that I'm sure Paul Toby, as a piano teacher, probably feels that when he's creating his products and he's helping people learn music, something he's passionate about. There's an incredible amount of creative freedom. It's not just about money and changing the world. It's also becoming your most valuable, authentic self, which is really cool. Now, within this, there's certain ways that help you create, both with our software, but just also in just how you think about it. One is to really be able to design the program. So if you are, like there's somebody on the call, Kurt, I believe, who helps the motorcycle agency or motorcycle dealers. He's got a method to design a program that helps these people create courses, create a whole academy around this concept. And then you got to produce the content. That's where the course builder comes in play to like kind of organize your expertise into, and all the tools around that, not just the content, but all the quizzes and assignments and gamification and things to help you actually create a learning program and to also grow your community. So maybe you have a free course that just kind of helps you grow your audience, the free course lead magnet we talked about, or the quick start course. But also you could have community as part of the offer, part of the membership, and use that. In terms of launching, you have to implement the technology. And if you're worried about that, similar to Groundhogg, we have an experts program where if this all sounds great, but you want somebody else to set up the website, we have an experts program that could help you do that. So that if you don't want to get into the weeds of setting up the site, you don't have to. But if you want to do it yourself, you can do that too. If there's anybody on this call who does, as part of the Groundhogg Certified Partner Program experts, you should consider joining ours over at Lifter LMS if you gain a little bit of competency in using a learning management system. And we'll talk about that more in our call later today. But in addition to implementing the technology, we want to fill the funnel. So we were looking at the power of a quick start course. You heard me mention the free course lead magnet strategy. That is a huge part. Like, instead of, like, a lot of people use ebooks and PDFs and checklists. These things are cool. I like them. I use them. But having a course is a little more, the leads that commit to the opt-in form and then going through a series of content. It doesn't have to be a giant course, but that can be a big way to grow your email list. The Lifter LMS Quick Start course, over 20,000 people have come through that in the past 6 years or so. That's huge. It's the biggest driver of growth and leads for our business. So even if you run an agency or a print community magazine or a scrub shop or a coaching program, think about a free mini course you could create that has like less than an hour's worth of content in it, but value packed to help your ideal customer. Put that thing out there, get some leads. And we have some resources around instructional design. If anybody is like, okay, but what do I actually make? I mean, we got all kinds of resources for that. We have almost 400 episodes of a podcast called LMS Cast that helps with all kinds of these different things as well. And the last thing is really in terms of launching, is the conversion. So converting sales, Lifter has a conversion optimized checkout screen. It's simple, it's easy. Even if you've designed like this complicated, like trial, membership, recurring revenue, first payments higher, all this stuff, the checkout experience is just straightforward. And if people are going to buy, it's not going to get in your way, and you're going to get the best conversions you can. In terms of scaling, automation is important. That's been a subject that's come up a lot today. Groundhogg does a lot of that. We were looking at Uncanny Automator. Lifter has tons of automation features built right into the tool. So that way you can kind of do what I call scaling the human touch with robotics. It's like using technology and automation to be way more effective. So with your digital twin, even like, all the videos that Paul was talking about growing his YouTube channel, that's a type of automation. But scaling automation is awesome, but don't remove the human entirely. I mean, you can have a completely passive thing going on, but some of the little touches of where the human comes into play can add a ton of value. The other part to scale is actually delighting your learners, not just selling product. So this is where we focus on results here. When people have a great experience with your business, you made the onboarding or the sales process easy through having your quick start course. The actual additional learning you provide to your team members or your customers or your prospects is delightful. And that's where word of mouth comes from. That's how companies scale faster. So focusing on delight is key. And then the last thing is, in terms of scale, is growing your team. So this is how we think about product at Lifter LMS. This is how we help education entrepreneurs grow. In terms of growing your team, we're known for having incredible support. We do live calls and all kinds of way above and beyond what anybody else in the industry does. But also we have spent our own time helping other businesses be successful. So WordPress professional, agency experts, we have a list. People ask us all the time, hey, do you know anybody that can help set this up? Yep, here's the list of people that we've vetted and are good with the tool. So if you need to ask us for support, go ahead. If you need you're looking for more outsourcing of the implementation, we've got resources for that. And Adrian, I know Adrian's got a lot of great agencies surrounding the Groundhogg project as well, and freelancers. And I can't understate the importance of that. You can do it all by yourself, but sometimes, and a lot of times, it makes sense to bring in some outside expertise. So that is the education entrepreneur growth engine. What we're going to look at next, and then I'm going to be happy to take any questions, is just a few more things here. So we went over the model, the education entrepreneur growth engine, how we think about product at Lifter LMS, how we design it, how we put our customers at the center of our business, and how we support them, but also how you can think about being an education entrepreneur yourself. These are the things to do that we just went over. I've also got a resource for you if you are looking to get a membership plugin or a learning management system plugin. We run into a lot of people that, and Gregory, if you don't mind, if you could put this link in the chat, I think I linked it up earlier. We put together a guide of the only 5 questions. If you ask these 5 questions, it's going to save you tons of time, money, heartache, by getting clear on what the best solution is for you if you're looking for a learning management system in 2022 and beyond. So even if you already have one, check out these questions. I just want to see you be more successful in tool selection, because I see a lot of people that get really overwhelmed and or choose poorly, and they get overwhelmed while they're shopping and looking for tech, or they make bad decisions and end up in a hot mess. So this little resource will help you be more successful. And if you're watching this later, just go to the link lifterlms.com/guide. And I want to ask you, can you see yourself using a LMS in your business? Like, let me know in the chat. Have you had some kind of idea today? Maybe you're already using an LMS, but do you have any kind of fresh takes? You can just drop a yes or a Y in the chat. What are you going to do with the LMS? Like, I hope I gave you some new ideas today about that, because really learning is what makes us human, and there's so much that we can do there. I've also got a special discount for you. If you decide to move forward with Lifter LMS, just head over to lifterlms.com and use the coupon code Groundhogg22. Groundhog has 2 G's at the end, and that'll save you 22%. So go check that out. And I want to thank you for letting me do my best work and do what I love to do, which is help people out there level up and how they approach learning and WordPress and their websites, and really helping more people make a bigger difference in the world and in their companies and move faster with more speed, certainty, and insight. It's what I love to do. So thank you for coming. I'm happy to take any questions and go from there.